Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Ben Reno Weber. I am the Metro Council person for District 8. I just want to start off by thanking all of the agencies and individuals who have been involved in both the response to this incident, but also to responding to the concerns of the neighbors across our community, and particularly in our entertainment districts, about being sure that we have the right resources and plans in place to make our neighborhoods safe and welcoming spaces while continuing to support the businesses and industries that make Louisville so vibrant. So thank you all so much to our folks at LMPD, at ABC, with the mayor's office, and also to the neighborhood associations, the restaurant association, who have been so proactive and positive in their engagement in this. We're really grateful to all of you. I'm going to hand off now to Director Brad Silvera, who's going to talk a little bit about what is going on with ABC.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everybody. My name is Brad Silveria. It's Silveria. I'm the Director of Louisville Metro Alcoholic Beverage Control. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about, I'll keep it very brief about what happened this previous weekend. That incident is under investigation, and so we're going to keep our comments very brief, and any questions about the investigation for now will be deferred to LMPD. I did want to talk about a proactive initiative that took place last week involving an anonymous tip that took place with ABC. And this tip was related, I'd say, I've got some dates here. On August 15th last week, we'd been investigating a tip of illegal alcohol storage in the Fern Creek area at 5620 Bardstown Road, and it was Unit B. ABC had been working this tip about illegal storage for quite some time, and this was all again based on this one anonymous tip. And then while we got inside to the establishment and we talked to the owner, the alcoholic beverages we found were substantial. It was a really large amount, and it ended up coming back to an illegal storage by the club Afroconza, and we criminally cited a gentleman by the name of Bernard Babot, and that was, again, 8/15 of 2024. And what I'm wanting to get at and why this connects is an anonymous tip came through to ABC, and no tip is too small for what we're trying to accomplish, and the information was very relevant for us. And I would say I want to put out the number. If there's an alcohol crime tip, and this is not to cut into LMPD's crime tips or active in progress crimes, this is just something that's a crime tip that might, you see something, say something. If you see it, you act upon it. We call that the alcohol crime tip. It's 574-3591, option 4. And that'll go through to the ABC officers on duty. It goes through as a voicemail attached to an email. We all keep our computers in our vehicles. And that one little tip came through, and we seized 55 cases of alcoholic beverages that were stored illegally. And with that, I would say I'm going to turn this over to Major Rivera at LMPD. He can discuss a little further, but and we'll save questions for the end. Thank you. Major Rivera. Thank you.
My name is Major Arnold Rivera, R-I-V-E-R-A. I'm the commander of the Major Crimes Division. I'm here to give a brief update on the 5th Division's enforcement detail in and around the entertainment district in Councilmember Weber's district. So far, they've made 27 felony arrests, have served 25 arrest warrants, seized 8 firearms, and recovered 4 stolen vehicles. Overall, in the 5th Division, crime is down around 6% for the year. The men and women of this department work tirelessly to reduce violent crime and to protect the most vulnerable in our community. We remain steadfast in our commitment to reduce violent crime. From the time of the incident a few weeks ago in the 900 block of Baxter Avenue through the days after the incident, the investigators in the homicide unit worked tirelessly to identify, locate, and apprehend the suspect. The investigators were not alone in this. The Criminal Interdiction Division worked alongside our homicide investigators And this highlights the team-centered approach of the department to work together to bring justice to the victims and the families of violent crime. Our department is committed to work with all of our partner agencies in Metro government and external partners to help make Louisville a safe and vibrant city for all. And with that, I'll turn this over to Lieutenant Les Skaggs. He's the commander of the Homicide Division, who will give you a brief update on the incident on Baxter Avenue.
Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Les Skaggs. I'm the commander of LMPD's Homicide Unit. I'm here to summarize where we are in relation to the double homicide that occurred in the 5th Division on August the 11th. Officers responded to that area after off-duty officers working off-duty reported of shots fired in the 900 block of Baxter Avenue. Everything that occurred that morning occurred outside. There was no activity that occurred inside the businesses in the 900 block of Baxter. Through our investigation, it was determined that there were 2 separate incidents. Ultimately, from these 2 incidents, 3 people sustained gunfire. The first, Monte Wade, was transported by EMS to the University of Louisville Hospital, where he was declared deceased. The second, Michael Batchelor, who was pronounced deceased on scene. And the third, Richie Williams, who self-transported to Norton's Hospital by personal conveyance with non-life-threatening injuries. Through the homicide investigation, it was determined that Richie Williams was found to have discharged a handgun and striking Wade. Williams was then shot by, as of yet, unknown persons after Williams shot Wade. Off-duty officers on scene observed Williams running with a gun in his hand, and Williams was seen dropping a handgun in the 900 block of Baxter Avenue, and then he fled on foot. Detectives responded to the hospital, and we recovered the same clothing that he was wearing when he was observed by the off-duty officers. Williams is a convicted felon, and he was taken into custody on an arrest warrant for the murder of Wade on August 15th by our LMPD fugitive unit. Again, this was 2 separate incidents. Approximately 3 minutes after this first incident, as officers were securing the scene, initial gunshots were heard nearby, and another homicide occurred in the 1500 block of Morton. Michael Batchelor was pronounced deceased at that scene. We do not believe Williams had anything to do with the homicide of Batchelor. The Batchelor homicide is still ongoing, and it's an ongoing investigation, and we're not going to comment or give answers at this time about that. This is the most up-to-date information we have, and our investigation is ongoing. Any new developments that come out from this will be released by our Press Information Office. Thank you.
Thank you. So if there are 2 takeaways here that we want to be sure that everyone understands, first off, there's being a robust and significant response to these 2 separate incidents that happened a couple of weeks ago. Second, the concerns of community members are being heard and responded to by proactive work up and down all of our entertainment corridors in coordination of these agencies and others. We'll take a couple of questions at this time.
Just to confirm, so the person you arrested for the shooting on the Baxter Avenue incident is also one of the victims?
Yes, that's correct. Richie Williams was one of the victims reported that he had been shot and was at the hospital. Through the investigation, it was determined that Richie Williams had fired a shot striking Wade, which ultimately killed Wade, and then as of yet, undetermined persons shot Richie Williams after he shot Wade.
Are we in the middle of some kind of gang war or escalated violence with these people?
So Louisville has a gang problem. Some members of the community have associations with gangs. Some are full members of gangs. We're not in a position where we're going to make that determination as far as this incident that occurred on August 11th was in fact gang related. We are in the position that it was a violent criminal act, and we are investigating that fully. We are going to take appropriate action and bring all parties involved into custody.
What's being done within the department to control this gang violence?
Again, as I stated before, the department is steadfast in its commitment to reduce violent crime, and that is working with our partners, our government partners, state and local and federal partnerships, including Group Violence Intervention Agency, as a team to address violent crime and put forth our best effort in a holistic manner to address violent crime, address the perpetrators of violent crime, and do so in a constitutional manner without causing any harm to those that are not involved. Because we owe it to the community to give our very best to have a safe and vibrant community for everyone in Louisville. It is a holistic approach, a data-driven approach, using intelligence and multiple partners to leverage technology, human intelligence, and our efforts to focus on those drivers of crime.
Major, can I add something to that?
Yes.
One of the things that I think is really important that we understand as a community is that what makes young people vulnerable to being engaged in violence as a whole and gang violence in particular is when they do not feel hope. And when we fail to invest in the programs and wraparounds and services that support those families, this is the natural result. The last report by the Greater Louisville Project made extremely clear that our community's disinvestment in programs that target youth that are disconnected or at risk of becoming disconnected, you can track a couple of years later the upsurge in engagement and disengagement in the activities that we want and don't want young people to be involved in. And it's why it is so important that we as a community, we as Metro Council, be funding programs like Kentuckiana Works, like our gun violence intervention programs, like Youth Build, and like the programs that wrap around JCPS, so that we're not facing these sorts of issues in the future. You know, they say the best time to have planted a tree is 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. So I just want to be clear that we need to be doing all the things that we are doing to address the immediate issues that we are facing, and we need to be looking and investing in the future, and that's something that we're going to be pushing for really hard. I think that's all the time we have right now. Thank you all so much for being here.